Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, in the first official confirmation that French special forces have been operating on the ground in Libya, Paris confirms that 3 soldiers have been killed in an intelligence-gathering mission there after their helicopter went down. Also, Human Rights Watch accuses Kenyan security forces of enforced disappearances and the extrajudicial killing of men with suspected extremist links. Police say that they're willing to have the claims independently investigated. And Cameroon's far off from its golden age of cinema. With no more movie theatres left in the capital, cinephiles are counting on the Culture Ministry's plans to bring back the silver screen. But first, Libyan sources say that they believe 3 French soldiers killed in the country were shot down by surface-to-air missiles. France claims the troops died in a helicopter accident whilst on an intelligence mission. It's the first official confirmation from Paris that it has soldiers in the country.
France finally admits it has special forces in Libya, following media reports that 3 French soldiers were killed when their helicopter was shot down outside the eastern city of Benghazi.
Libya is home to dangerous instability. Libya is just several hundred kilometers from European shores. We are currently carrying out dangerous intelligence operations. 3 of our soldiers who were taking part in these operations have just lost their lives in a helicopter accident.
Paris took a leading role in the NATO air campaign that helped rebels overthrow Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. Taking advantage of the power vacuum that followed, the Islamic State group has since established a stronghold in the coastal city of Sirte. As political deadlock continues in the country between its 2 rival governments, officially the international community only recognizes the UN-brokered Tripoli unity government.
France is involved in Libya. Politically, it supports the government of Tripoli, recognized by the United Nations. But here, the fight in Benghazi is being done alongside General Haftar, which is the enemy of Tripoli. So it shows us the complications of the situation in Libya, but it shows us also that France is determined to fight jihadi groups.
French daily Le Monde reported back in February that French special forces were present in the east of the country, but until now the government had only confirmed reconnaissance flights. The news comes as rival factions get ready to meet in neighbouring Tunisia this weekend in a bid to break the political deadlock.
Kenyan police have challenged rights activists to show evidence of claims that security agents have been abducting and killing citizens in the northeast. Human Rights Watch says that it's documented dozens of enforced disappearances and suspected killings of men suspected of having links to Islamic extremists.
The Human Rights Watch investigation lasted 8 months. It makes serious accusations against Kenyan authorities, saying dozens of people have died or disappeared during a campaign against jihadist suspects.
If you look at the sophistication of these operations, if you look at the fact that multiple security forces are involved, there is a degree of coordination, there's a degree of sophistication, suggesting that these operations are not only authorized, but must be authorized at a relatively senior level of government in order to involve these multiple agencies.
The Kenyan government has rejected the allegations. Human Rights Watch said it interviewed a total of 117 victims and witnesses of counter-terrorism operations.
On April 26th last year, my brother was picked up by 2 men from the anti-terror police unit. That was the last time he was seen. We don't know if he's still alive.
My relative has been disappeared in her own country, and the government is silent about her whereabouts. No one knows whether she's dead or alive.
Al-Shabaab jihadists have targeted Kenya since it sent troops into Somalia in 2011. Its main attacks have been against Nairobi's Westgate shopping mall in 2013 and a massacre of students at a university in Garissa last year.
Look now at some news in brief. Thousands of supporters of Zimbabwean leader Robert Mugabe marched on the headquarters of the ruling ZANU-PF party in Harare on Wednesday. The rally was in response to anti-government protests earlier this month led by Pastor Evan Mawarire. Some of Mugabe's backers have dismissed Mawarire's complaints of government corruption, alleged police brutality, and delays in paying state salaries. The party's youth leaders declared that it has been written in the Bible that 92-year-old Mugabe will rule until he dies. Gambian opposition leader Ousseynou Dabu was sentenced to 3 years in jail on Wednesday for organising a demonstration in April over the death in custody of a party member. Dabu and 17 others faced multiple charges in connection to the rally. In Zambia, as the countdown to next month's closely run election continues, police have raided the home of former Defence Minister and opposition leader Geoffrey Mwamba. 28 activists for his UPND party were reportedly arrested there on suspicion of rioting and making petrol bombs. It follows the lifting of a 10-day ban on campaigning brought in to prevent pre-election clashes. Mwamba is the UPND vice president. Its leader, Hakainde Hichilema, is challenging Edgar Lungu in the August polls. 15 months after they were kidnapped by rebels in Central African Republic, 13 Cameroonian hostages have been freed and taken to Yaoundé for medical checkups. The mayor of the northern Cameroonian town of Lagdo was amongst the group abducted along the border with Central African Republic last year. Seleka rebels are thought to have been behind the ambush. Yaoundé's not yet released details about the conditions of the captives' release. Well, in Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon, proper cinemas disappeared years ago. Now, the Culture Ministry hopes to bring a love of film back to the country and has funded the refurbishment of several historic locations. Take a look.
This is one of the last cinemas in Cameroon's capital, Yaoundé. A tiny screen showing a Chinese film at the end of a somber room.
If your film is finished, please leave.
The makeshift cinema club sits in a poor area of the city, far away from the centre. The era of people gathering in vast halls to watch films ended 20 years ago. This building used to house 8 screens, but the audience has melted away and it was converted into a sewing shop towards the end of the 1980s. Another, with a sprawling surface area, is now used as a furniture showroom.
We kept the same structure with the windows, the same structure. The wall that you see in front was the cinema screen itself. We haven't done anything with it, just left it as it was.
A few kilometers away lies another converted old cinema, which closed down in 2003. It couldn't compete with the modern world of piracy, cable networks, and satellite television. The business became so unprofitable that the former owner abandoned a great treasure discovered by this employee.
That's the projector. This machine has been here for about 11 years. Seriously, it's really sad what's become of cinema in Cameroon. It's like history now.
However, for the cinephiles of Yaoundé, there's a glimmer of hope. This cinema screen has been refurbished by the Cameroon Culture Ministry. Meanwhile, a renovation of the historic cinema at the centre of town is also due to start in 8 months. The hope is that they will spark new interest in a bygone era of the communal enjoyment of film.
Well, that's it for Eye on Africa. Thanks very much for joining us. Please do so again if you can. Take care.